What's going on, guys? Sam here, and in today's video I'm going to be going over how I created this shot.
We need to go. Go!
So I just want to kind of give you guys a little bit of insight into some of the stuff that I've been doing for my new film Gemini. It's been a huge task and it's been taking up a lot of my time, which is why I haven't been posting as regularly. But I'm really excited to share some of the stuff that I've learned with you guys and also break down some of the shots from the film. So mainly what this video is going to be about is just going into Unreal Engine and showing you guys how I created this basic scene and setup, and then how I'm able to make it look a little more cinematic by adding some movement, by adding some atmosphere, some fog cards, things like that. And then also adding a little bit more movement and dynamics to our scene using a pack from the guys over at ActionVFX called the Ultimate Fire Pack Volume 1. And they were kind enough to let me actually demo this pack before it comes out. And it's going to be coming out very soon. So I'm just going to go over some of the elements that they've included in this fire pack, which is really cool. And I think it's really going to help you guys add a lot to some of your scenes. So before we get into the video, I just want to say thank you guys for subscribing and supporting this channel. If you're not subscribed to Boundless Entertainment, please hit that subscribe button below and also click the bell to be notified when I upload new videos, because I have a lot of new stuff coming out. I'm working on an Unreal Engine filmmaking course, which is actually going to break down a little more in detail how you can create this shot using Unreal Engine, then After Effects and compositing and all those things, just the full process of what goes into creating a shot like this. So if you guys want to see that, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you're notified once I release that. And I'm also going to be releasing a website soon, so stay tuned for that. Lots of new stuff coming up, and I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So let's get into the video. Okay guys, so here we are inside of Unreal Engine once again, and I want to show you guys a scene that I created for my film Gemini. And you know, this is the basic shot. I just want to go over how to kind of make this shot look cinematic. So first off, this is in lit mode. I'm going to end up rendering this in path tracing mode. However, as you can see, if we go into path tracing mode, things don't play back very smoothly. For demonstration purposes, I'm just going to show you guys what it looks like in lit mode. However, it looks much better once we move into path tracing because it's going to give us all that properly calculated bounce lighting and totally realistic reflections, lighting, and all that stuff. So path tracing mode is great if you're rendering for film. And I have a whole tutorial on that. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put the link up in the corner. So what I want to talk about today is a couple things, and one of them is kind of adding some of that motion into your shot. I've created these fog cards, and I'll show you guys what that looks like. So if we go out of our active camera here, you know, this looks really bad if we go to different angles because they're just flat planes. You can see I have these fog cards that are just displayed on these planes, and if we were to play through this animation, you can see these fog cards are actually moving as we play the animation. So they don't move as we navigate around the viewport, however they will move once we play the animation, and as such once we render this animation. So if you guys want to know how to do that, I made a tutorial last week on that, so go ahead and check that out. I'll put the link up in the corner to that one as well. It's a really useful technique, and it's also really good for compositing any sort of elements into your scene, video elements or anything like that. And that's going to add a lot of our motion into this shot. If we take a look here, I have 8 different fog cards, and I've arranged them according to where our camera is. So I have one here, I have one here, one kind of acting as like a fog layer above. Then I have one over here and a few layering back into the background, and that's going to add a lot of depth. Fog adds depth to your scene because if you don't have fog, so if I turn off my exponential height fog here, you can see we lose a lot of information that our eye is collecting about the depth of this shot. So if we turn it on, we can see that the buildings that are farther away are much brighter because there's more fog in between those buildings and the camera. So that means that it's farther away, and our eye can perceive that because we know how fog works. So if we turn that off, we're losing a lot of information. Same with these fog cards, it's giving us information as to where these things are in the scene. So if you see, you know, if I look over here, I can tell this fog is behind this building and it's in front of this building. So it's giving us some information, and that's always good. We can see I also have these other elements right here. So if you're wondering what these are actually assets created by ActionVFX, and it's called Ultimate Fire Pack Volume 1. And what they are a bunch of Cascade and Niagara fire elements that you can put into your scene. And you can see they have some amazing looking smoke here. It's very realistic looking, and it also behaves very nicely, very realistic. And you can see if we go over here, these smoke elements are just looking fantastic. So especially, say you wanted to do kind of a wide shot of your city here, something like that, that's going to give your scene a lot of movement, and it's going to just add a lot to the realism of your scene because we have these moving fire and smoke elements. And, as you can see, I just am using the smoke part of many of these, but there are also these really realistic looking fire elements as well. And you can see that here, there's several of them, so I can go through and show you guys what they look like. If we go into our particles here and into our fire, you can see we have cascade systems, and we also have Niagara systems. Now, I'm not sure that the cascade systems will actually show up in a path trace render, but I know for sure that the Niagara systems will, so that's not going to be a problem for you guys if you're rendering in path tracing mode. If we go into path tracing, we can see it's not looking very good in our viewport, and that's because it has to calculate all those samples, and it's not able to do that in real time. That's why the renders take so long. But when you actually render this for real, it will properly render those Niagara elements, which is great. So if we go back into our lit mode here, so we can actually see the elements, we have our fire hero, and that's the one that I'm using here. And right away you can see just kind of the initial burst is kind of like an explosion, and then it's just this really nice looking big fire element, and it goes up into our scene. And what's great about these also is that they react with the lighting properly, so that's very helpful. So now you can see that the light beam is actually picking up that smoke coming off of the Niagara particle system. So you're actually getting some realistic looking lighting with this lighting in your scene. And as you can see also, I have down here, I have a kind of small fire element, and that's picking up some of the lighting in the smoke from this other light that I have kind of just sitting on the wall here. So that's another nice feature of this pack. This is a really nice looking fire element. This would be perfect for, this would be an excellent element to use in your games. And it's also really good for film, especially, at an angle like this, like, using it to kind of fill in your Unreal Engine scenes and add a lot of realism to them. So you can see, this is looking really good, and we're getting some nice sparks here as well. So some very realistic looking stuff from this pack. We'll take out the fire medium. So just kind of another variation on this fire. It's this one's looking really nice, and we got a lot of detail in this fire. So and you can see, we get some sparks shooting off, but these elements here where it actually looks like it's kind of interacting with the ground, those are really nice. That's a great touch. So it doesn't look like it's just kind of spawning out of the ground. It actually looks like it's kind of burning on something, which is great. We can go here to the fire small element, drag that out. We just have a very small fire, and once again we have this nice detail in here as well, and the smoke is always just looking really nice as well. So we go back in here, and this is just something that you could maybe even use on like a torch or something like that. And if you move it around, so if you move it over here, it'll update where the smoke is emitting from, which is really nice. We have lots of great elements here, and they provide a demo project which demonstrates all the different fire packs, both the Cascade and the Niagara ones, as well as a few other smaller elements that they've included, which is really nice. So a big thank you to ActionVFX for allowing me to try these elements out, and full disclosure, they did not pay me or anything for this. This is just 100% honest review, kind of taking a look into these elements. So I will definitely be using these in my projects. As you can see, we have some really nice looking smoke coming out of these buildings. I could make the fire more apparent if I wanted to, but the other great thing is that these are Niagara systems and Cascade systems. So if we go into the emitter here, we can actually edit these, and we have all these different elements that are broken down nicely and commented for us so that we can go in and modify them, which is great. Ground fire, explosion, smoke column, smoke white. So this is really nice, and it's great that we can then modify this. We have total control over it right out of the box. These are just already looking great. So, but as you guys can see, this is actually a very simple scene. Aside from the geometry, which I modeled in Blender, I'm just going to render this out, and I can composite it in After Effects with my original footage, and that's going to give me a nice result. Alright, so I think that about wraps it up for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. If it was helpful for you, please leave a like and also consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos or any questions or comments, let me know down below. Once again, I appreciate all your guys' support. It's been really nice over the past few months, so I'm really excited to keep growing this community. And once again, another thank you to the guys over at ActionVFX. I think you guys are really going to be into their new pack that they have coming out, so make sure you go over and check out all their social media channels. I'll leave links in the description as well to that. So once again, thank you guys for watching and have a good one.